Hi everybody and welcome to Cooking with Miss Cindy. I'm Miss Cindy from the South Brunswick Public Library. Today I'm going to show you yet another microwave only recipe that doesn't require a stove or an oven. We are going to be making pizza in a mug. Now it's not going to be the same as a regular pizza pie because it's not going to be, flat, but it is going to be kind of like a deep dish pizza that you eat with a fork and a knife. You're going to make the dough from scratch and then you're going to put the pizza toppings in. It's going to be excellent. So let's go. So just a quick heads up, I recorded this, but when I went to edit, I found that there was no audio, so this is all going to be done via voiceover. Let me tell you what you're going to need. Some kind of oil, I'm using safflower, you can use olive, baking soda, baking powder, garlic powder, pasta sauce or pizza sauce. I have pasta sprinkle, but it's also called Italian spices or Italian blend. However you find it. Salt, milk, mozzarella cheese, and flour. If you don't have the Italian blend, you can always use dried basil or dried oregano or both. Alright, we're going to get everything out of the way here and get started. So first we're going to grab a microwave safe mug and we're going to take some oil and put it in just to make sure that nothing sticks to it. I'm putting a little bit of oil in there and then going to be using a paper towel to kind of smear that oil all throughout the inside. The goal is for it not to feel oily on the inside, just slippery and kind of greasy. You don't want to leave a puddle of oil. That will turn kind of gross. Next, you're going to take 4 tablespoons of regular plain flour and put that right into your microwave safe mug. To the flour, you're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon baking powder and 1/16 of a teaspoon baking soda. Next, you're going to go in with 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. If you look, the spoon that I have here is a 1/4 teaspoon measure, which means that I'm only going to fill it about half full to get 1/8 of a teaspoon. Next, we're going to add our garlic powder. I'm going to be adding about a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. This is just to taste because I tend to like garlic, but you can leave it out. And finally, to the dry ingredients, we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of dried Italian herbs. Like I said, dried oregano or dried basil will work. I'm still using the same 1/4 teaspoon, so 2 of those together is a 1/2 teaspoon. Now we move on to the wet ingredients. We are going to be adding 3 tablespoons of milk, any kind, to our flour mixture. Lastly, we're going to be adding 1 tablespoon of oil. Like I said, I'm using a plain safflower oil that I have. You can use any kind of oil that you've got. And olive oil would taste really good in this recipe, but really, any kind of oil you have will be just fine. So now this is going to get stirred. It doesn't have to be super combined. It's okay if there are lumps. You don't want to over stir it too much, just until the wet and dry ingredients are well combined. Some recipes will have you add the marinara and cheese and everything to the wet dough. I tried that and it wasn't my favorite. So actually, after this is done mixing, I'm going to pop the dough into the microwave to cook before I put in the toppings later. So this is going to go in the microwave for about a minute to about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Okay, dough's out and it looks ready to go. So now we are going to add our toppings. It's going to cook a little bit more once we go back in though, so don't worry about that. So right now I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon of marinara. You can add a little bit more or a little bit less depending on how saucy you like it. To this, we're going to add 1 generous tablespoon of mozzarella cheese. I actually added probably a little bit more than the tablespoon, but again, this is all to taste. You do however much or however little cheese your heart tells you. Now this is going to go back in the microwave for about another minute Depending on what kind of microwave you have, though, it might be more or it might be less. You just want to get to the point where the cheese is bubbly. Okay, this is out, and it looks melty and pizza-y and delicious and a little bit messy, but delicious things in life are often messy. You want to make sure that the dough is nice and cooked through, poke it through with a fork, but look at that. The inside is kind of like a bread texture, so it's like you made like a little pizza bread. But the cheese is good, it's nice and saucy. This is pretty much ready to go, it just needs to cool for a couple of minutes. Okay, guys, that is it for me for this week. I hope that you guys like it. I hope that you guys try to make it on your own. The dough is really similar to an actual pizza dough that you would be able to make if you wanted to cook it in an oven, but this is just a little bit of a way to make it a really quick, easy, 5-minute microwave meal. So as usual, if you've made anything from Cooking with Miss Cindy or my Tween Tuesday programs, I'd love to see a picture or a video of it. You can send those along to this address right here. I'm really excited to hear from you guys. So I will see you next week on Cooking with Miss Cindy. Bon appetit! Bye!